So today is Reenactment Day. But before I do that, let's go ahead and address A, why this is important, and B, some of the comments in regards to the last video about baby Alex not crying and nobody hearing him and all of the crap that people apparently don't understand. Let's talk about that before we get into this. So one of the absolute biggest comments that I get is, it doesn't matter, she still put her baby in the garbage can. You are absolutely right. She did. Nobody ever said she was innocent of that. I've repeated that in the first 50 videos that I have done on my viewpoint when it comes to that. She's guilty for putting a baby in a garbage can. I can't change that. Can't change that. Of course, can't change that. Why did she do it? I don't know. Maybe Gary will give us an explanation. Maybe he won't. There could be many reasons. Trauma response. Fear. Maybe she's a people pleaser. If you've never had a child that's a people pleaser, they would literally do just about anything not for people to be disappointed in them. Their brains don't process this whole, oh, I might get in trouble or this is wrong. The only thing their brains process is, oh my gosh, they're going to be upset with me. They're going to be disappointed. I've let my family down. I've let my friends down. I let my boyfriend down. That's it. Again, I'm not saying that's what this is, just kind of throwing some different defense strategies that could possibly happen out there. But again, at the end of the day, it does not change what she did, putting baby in the garbage can. However, the reason for all of this, well, was the bag tied? Was the bag not tied? Who tied it? Has everything to do with the charge. Should she be charged with gross abuse of a corpse or whatever the case? Absolutely. But that's not what she's being charged for. So everybody's like, it doesn't matter. She still put a baby in the garbage can. It doesn't matter if it was breathing, not breathing. You're right. She did. And it does matter. And I'm going to tell you why that matters. So let's get to the importance of that video and why it was done. I know that, I know we're all talking about the baby wasn't crying. They went in there. They didn't hear it, probably because baby passed away. You're absolutely right. And that is the point. The baby was probably already gone. They would not have heard the baby cry at all. I'm not putting that on them. I'm not saying screw them because they didn't hear a baby cry. The baby was not crying. Baby was probably not moving. There was nothing there because the baby was probably already gone. So there was no movement. That's what I believe. That's what most of the comments have said. But then the comments go into, she smothered him. She strangled him. She suffocated him. The autopsy does not confirm any of that happened. But then the next thing, well, she probably had the baby immediately as soon as she went in there and probably put the baby in the trash. Let's go ahead and say that that scenario is correct. Within the first 5 minutes, she did that. She spent the next 13 minutes cleaning up. We know that because we've seen the pictures. All of those paper towels, all of those tissues, everything that was there was placed in the same bag as the baby. The same bag. Which means that that bag was not tied up immediately after she put the baby in there. Because she had been cleaning. Why is this important? Why does it matter? Because if the baby was not tied up tightly in a bag like the autopsy report says, then the baby's cause of passing is not entrapment. If the bag was open and she put a bunch of stuff in there or whatever, it's not entrapment. They didn't say that it was suffocation. There was no fibers of paper towels or anything found in the baby's mouth. Or we would have had that the baby possibly suffocated from the stuff that was put. None of that was on the autopsy. None of it. Therefore, there's no way that this baby could have passed of entrapment. That changes her charge. That's why this is important. It has nothing to do with whether or not they heard or didn't hear, or that's besides the point. They went in there, they were doing their thing except for Lori, the little whatever. Everybody was just doing their job. They were checking around. I do not fault them for not finding the baby when she left the bathroom at all. So let's just clear the air on that. It is not their fault. They were just doing their jobs at that point. What I think about them prior to is a different video, but Nothing. They weren't doing anything wrong. The medical staff didn't do anything wrong at that point. Let's talk about some of the other comments. Why are you defending her so much? You must be related. You're part of the family. You got me. I mean, if that's what you want to believe and that makes you sleep at night, then so be it. This is not about defending her. This is about trying to get to the bottom of the truth. And if the girl is not guilty of first degree, why would I sit here and just join the echo chamber and say, well, because she put a baby in a trash can, that means she murdered him. Just because that's not what that means. The autopsy said that the baby took a breath. No, what the autopsy said was that there was air in the lungs and the stomach. The autopsy did a PMCT, CAT scan. On a CAT scan, those low attenuation points, which I've already covered this, I'm not going to get into it, of fluid, gases, and air all show up very similar. Absent a float test and a PMMR, there's no way that they would know for absolute certainty that that baby was born alive. There is no possible way. So I do not believe that the autopsy is wrong in the work that they did do. The stuff that they did, the examinations that they did, the testing, I believe all of that was accurate. I also believe that the autopsy was incomplete. And therefore, showing when the bag was tied, if it was ever tied, when that occurred, how that occurred, and who did it, plays a big role in the charge itself. Because if Alexi left that bathroom with that baby in that bag and the bag was open, you do not have a first degree charge. So I'm going to start with just some basic information. This baby doll is 17 inches. I believe baby Alex was 19, so we're looking at about a 2-inch difference. It really doesn't matter. So let's talk about what we do know. We did see the picture of the trash can while it was still in the bathroom after Alexi left, and this is what it looked like. There was a clear bag on there. Clearly you can see a bag. This garbage can is white, but you can still see the rim of the bag. This is what it looked like inside of the bathroom. This is what it looked like after the cleaning lady moved it into the hallway. The top liner was missing. Now, let's go ahead and listen to the cleaning lady's statement to police.
When I picked up the trash, I thought it was heavy, and so I started looking in there, and on the very bottom, she had it covered with some toilet paper, and that's when I called Lori and told her to come and look. I looked inside of it, and there's where I seen something, on the very bottom of the toilet paper that covered it up in a plastic bag. Okay. The baby was wrapped up like in a, like at the bottom of the trash can, and with trash on top of it, in a trash bag.
And so how did you see it, like as soon as you picked it up?
No, after I picked up the trash bag that was on top,
okay.
Where they were throwing the trash at, when I picked that up to change it, that's when I noticed that there was, when I seen the baby.
So she said after she picked it up to change it, that's when she noticed it, okay? We're going to put this back over. When she picked it up, and watch her hand movements, she goes like this. She brings them together. That's what she says. Now, I do believe she picked that up. We can see that. Remember, initially, the bag was in there. Lexi was already in her room. The bag was still open on top. Then all of a sudden, it is in the hallway. Her own statement is that she picked it up to change it, which means that is why we no longer see the bag. Now it's in here. All we see now, which is a block view, is HT bending down and go like this. More than likely, opening it to see what happened. But before that, watch the cleaning ladies. Kind of watch what she does. Here it is. She had already moved it. Mind you, she says it was heavy, right? Everybody's going by the fact that she said it was heavy. She noticed it was a little heavier than normal. She picks it up. She brings it out, lays it down, pays it no mind, puts her mop up or whatever, goes back into the bathroom. She's gone, I don't know, maybe a minute, less than a minute. Comes back out, does what she needs to do. She keeps looking at this garbage can. She stares for a minute. What is she contemplating? She's already picked it up. She's already picked up the bag. At this point, by her own statement, she already knows baby's in there. What are we contemplating? Now, this is where theories will start to come in. Theory number one, let's talk about her trauma response or fear response. Because I'm going to go with the fact that this is a traumatizing experience. Immediately, she may be enacting some sort of blame. Oh my gosh, I picked up this thing. I've been throwing paper towels in it. I've been throwing trash in it. Baby was in there. She needs a minute to process this before she makes the decision to call somebody over. Now let's see what we're looking at up close. Now for purposes of TikTok, we're talking about a doll. This is what the doll looks like. Based on both statements, or everybody's statement, there was a lot of toilet paper covering it up. Let's remove some of the ones that were thrown out on the outside. Now, a close-up stared view, you can begin to see the doll. I believe her statement the first time was absolutely correct. She picked it up before she noticed it. Put the doll back in there and proceeded to do what she needed to do while she processed what just happened. Theory number two. She comes in the bathroom. She starts kind of cleaning things up. She sees this gooey, red, messy stuff everywhere, trying to be appropriate, and doesn't want to look at it while she's cleaning, so she does this. She starts cleaning and keeps throwing. We know she's throwing the stuff in there, and I'll tell you how we know she's throwing the stuff in there. Not in any of the videos do we ever see her come out with trash. She doesn't come out with napkins. She doesn't come out with a bunch of rags. None of that stuff. The only logical explanation is that the paper towels and stuff she's using to clean are being thrown in the garbage can. Now, when they took the bag out, we have another picture of what was left in the garbage bag. This is what it looked like. Now, I'm not going to make them any type of color. We're just going to leave it white. But we have a bag. We have some paper towels and stuff. Not enough to have done the amount of cleaning that the bathroom needed. Which means the rest of them are in the bag. The rest of the cleaning stuff is in the bag. That bag could not have been tied up until after all of the cleaning material was put in there. Now let's do theory number three. That Alexi tied the bag up and put another liner on top of it. Let's see what the cleaning lady would have seen at this point. There is no possible way with an additional liner, these are the clear ones, even the clear ones have a slight frost to them, that she saw anything in that garbage can. So this theory of an additional liner on top is obviously debunked. So what does it all mean? Why do we even care? It means, again, the only reason for all of this reenactment and the whole purpose of bringing up the garbage can and the bag has to do with the conclusion of entrapment. The autopsy relied heavily on the statements that when they found the baby, the bag was tied and everything else. Without those statements, you do not have entrapment. And I'm going to prove that in the next video that I do with the Diana Zavala case. Absent witness statements, they could not determine the baby's cause of passing. Without those statements from the that were given to the police and then given to the medical examiner, we could not have determined baby Alex's passing. Think logically, if the bag had never been tied, then we do not have an asphyxiation. There has to be another cause or manner of passing. That's what we need to get to the bottom of. So that is what's going to make or break this case. This thing with the garbage can is going to be a key component when this goes to trial. And the state has an uphill battle. Again, I'm bringing this to everybody so that you can see There's no surprises when this goes to trial how everything possibly could play out. Based on everything that I see, I don't see any way that the state is going to get a first-degree conviction. It's not going to happen. We have a whole year to find out, but a lot of stuff are going to be coming up over the year as these things happen. Now, another quick update. Gary has filed the paperwork that the judge required of him to argue his case about the motion to suppress. I believe today is the deadline for the state to file theirs. And then the judge will put in her order within the next week. So I will keep you guys updated as soon as the order comes out.